Welcome everybody to some awesome NIU League of Legends action. We're ready to go. Welcome back to a new season, and obviously we're jumping right in, getting into the into Champ Select a little bit early here. But we do have NIU versus Buffalo here in Esports Collegiate action. Buffalo, of course, on the blue side here, NIU on the red side to start, and I am joined. Well, let me introduce myself first for those of you that are new to the channel. I'm Connor Vagel. I've been the director of esports here for about 5 years, and I'm also your League of Legends caster, back again, as always, to do some play-by-play. I'm joined this year by Charles Farmer. Charles, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much, Connor. Couldn't be more excited to be here. And we're getting off with some insane picks already being taken by Buffalo, and the response by NIU is looking very interesting. The bans they seem to look for. Oh, and a Kog'Maw pick out of nowhere. Okay.
Yeah, that I am actually extremely surprised by. We really haven't seen a lot of NIU going towards Kog'Maw, or a lot of priority on Kog'Maw generally this season. So yeah, that was kind of out of nowhere, but I'm excited for it. We'll have to see how that goes. As you were saying,
It was very interesting to see the Milio ban. I think they were trying to prioritize a possible Maokai pick, but it seems that Buffalo read that really well and went for the Maokai ban. They go for the Ezreal Karma R1 R2. Or wait, no, they prioritize Karma and they go Ezreal Aatrox to take Aatrox away from our very own top laner Fury, who seems to be very proficient on the champion. So it'll be interesting to see what NIU responds with.
yeah, and I'm actually kind of surprised to see the Karma pick so early, or not really surprised, I should say. There's been a lot of priority on it. It can be super flexible at this point, where it can go mid, it can go top, it can even go support. I think likely we're going to see that as a support for this game. But Rakan and Nico being able to be played mid could theoretically be a jungler, but I would imagine we're probably going to see that mid for the returning be chillin' for the team. So we'll have to see where NIU wants to go with this. Lilia obviously taken off the board here with that last ban from NIU, and that's definitely been a terror in the jungle. And Kennen, a counter pick into Aatrox, but it's not been super high priority. So NIU definitely drafting towards comfort here, and I'm very excited to see that. I think this is a great way to go about it.
I'm very excited to see the AoE potential that they have. Oh, but no Sylas ban.
I gotta say, this exact team comp has, with interchangeable junglers, has kind of been Buffalo's bread and butter against us for many years, and it's given me PTSD to see it once again. As Olaf going to be what's locked in there, likely for the jungler here by Mumu Slay. I'm gonna be straight up honest with everybody here. As you can see, those are not English characters for top lane, mid lane, and support for Buffalo. In the interest of not butchering those names, I'm going to go with their champion names for the cast. I have looked it up. I know that the support is Tete, or Tete, I believe is how you go with it. But in the interest of not accidentally butchering it, I am going to go with the champion names just to give everybody a heads up here. So, yeah. Agua, welcome to the chat, as well as Sirakwa. So, yeah, obviously an interesting one. NIU finishing it off with the Jarvan to give themselves some tankiness here.
Everything looking pretty standard on the picks. No weird shifts in trades or anything. We don't see an Olaf mid. We don't see a Karma top. They all seem to be going in the roles that they most likely would be playing. But the Kog'Maw Rakan is very interesting into the Ezreal Karma. I'm interested to see how that works out.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I'm looking at the chat, and we see Alto is my forte saying that they want the Doggers emote. You got to use that Prime sub or the or anything to get that. But yeah, love the Doggers emote that we've got going here. Looking at it, I also am really excited about the fact that we did see we saw really high standard priorities here. I mean, we saw the Corki and Azir bans being traded. We saw the Rumble, which has been super high priority in competitive. So yeah, as you were saying, very standard types of drafts, and I'm excited to see how this one goes. Not much flexing back and forth between some of the picks.
Now, do you think there was a world where the Silas gets banned here instead
Uh
of the Akali?
yeah, I mean, I know that their mid laner on Buffalo plays quite a bit of Akali, um, and so I'm sure that that was kind of a comfort ban towards them. I wouldn't be shocked, depending on how this game goes. Silas is such an enabling pick that I could very well see that Silas being banned away. Although things like Aatrox, things like Silas, they're going to be strong in a lot of different capacities, and so we'll have to see exactly where they want to place those bans depending on how this matchup goes. Obviously, I think these are really strong bans for the first round So we'll have to see exactly where they go with this long term. Um, as we are just about a minute and 20 seconds before we get into this first game. As a reminder, as you guys see in the Twitch title, we are going with a 5-minute delay. So you guys will be hearing us 2 minutes after when we actually say anything. So the chat will be a little bit delayed when we're able to react to it. And then the game itself will be 3 minutes behind, as it is with traditional spectating. So we'll go ahead and get that ready. Any area of focus for you here, Charles, as we start this up?
To be honest, I'm very interested in the mid lane. I'm very interested. I think top lane, as long as the Kennen is playing confident, it shouldn't be that big of an issue to play into Aatrox. But I also think the jungle is going to be a very interesting matchup because Olaf loves to brawl early. He loves to look for big fights, but being able to see um, being able to see what the Olaf versus the Jarvan ends up doing will be very interesting. Now, is the game going to pull up?
Let's see. There we go. Now we're into it. All right. So this one might be a little bit. This first game might be a little scuffed, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be casting off the Discord video that's shared of the game. We do have a little bit of we didn't get the invites out as we'd like to. Looking at this though, across the board, pretty standard summoner spells and runes. We do see already into it, so we're not going to be able to go through those quite as quickly as I was hoping. Looking at it, it's going to be the Summon Airy for the Aatrox and Teleport. Very standard. Conquer for Olaf. That is a ghost, so he could be caught out depending on how this all goes. First Strike going to be down there for Silas, as well as a Teleport. That is also a press the attack for the Ezreal, and then Karma using Summon Airy. Or no, that's not Summon Airy. Neither is the Aatrox. Those are both Arcane Comet. Summon Airy is on the Kennen, though, and we'll get back to that in just a minute because it looks like Buffalo's trying for an aggressive level 1 here. And that's going to be a little bit of damage on towards Bootwear, but he is going to be able to just dive away there with the Rakan E, and so able to get out pretty nice and safe.
Standard 5-point coming out from NIU. Not really looking for anything. Oh, we are looking for cross-map vision now. Good play by Fury to make sure that we have some use of the fact that they're on their recalls. But yeah, pretty standard. Nothing too crazy.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, we see the fact is that the way that the map changes have kind of worked out. The junglers have been really highly prioritizing playing towards the bot lane, especially on that blue side. And so it's really meant that the red side jungler has to be there to answer any sort of gank opportunity that comes through. Now, because Olaf has started this off and Fury had vision of it, we know that they're going to be on the top side, and so there won't be that threat of an early gank. And so NIU is going to be able to play a little bit more aggressively in the bot lane and try to get some push going. But Bootwear going to have to flash early, and that's actually going to be a first blood over towards the side of Buffalo. Their bot lane with the aggressive bush cheese, and NIU not able to get out of that one. Rakan did have an extra health potion there. Looks like maybe he just knew that he wasn't going to be able to get the healing through the ignite and decided to just get out of there, or take the death and keep the health pot, I should say.
Very hard to try and fight an aggressive level 1 bot lane when you have call. It makes it where you're trying to more stop the bleeding, I would say, and play for late. But it was a decision they made, and it wasn't even the Kog'Maw that went down, so it doesn't seem to be that big of an issue. But we'll see if they...
Yep, go ahead, sorry.
No, it's all good. I lost audio for a second. I didn't know what happened.
Oh, no worries. I was just going to say, you know, we had the... I was going to mention that call, too. That is an interesting start from the Kog'Maw. It definitely means that he's going to be looking to farm more heavily, and it definitely does mean that the level 1 aggression from the side of Buffalo is not really something that NIU can answer. And luckily, they're able to do a nice job of trading the damage and the aggro so that Buffalo was not able to grab anything off of that early push again. But Olaf is posturing down towards this potential dive, so this is exactly what the worry is when you're on the blue side, or sorry, on the red side here. The way that the new lane and bush has been set up, it's really easy to dive this bot lane, and now NIU knows that this is coming because Olaf has used a Scryer's Bloom, so NIU going to have to try to find a way to get out of this, and the dive is here. There's going to be the TP expelled, and actually, NIU not going to lose one quite yet. They're now going to lose, they're going to actually get the cross map.
TP gets canceled, but it turns into a cross map kill mid lane, shutting down the Sylas early.
NIU doing a really, really nice job of answering that play. Yes, the bot lane of Buffalo was able to get a kill off of that, and actually 2 by the end, but NIU answering with 3 of their own across the map and bring this game back to pretty much even. Gold, not really that much difference, and kills definitely even at this point, so that's a really surprising early start. NIU doing a really nice job of holding their own in this matchup so far. Fury going to be engaged on and not really going to have much danger to himself, so he'll go ahead and back away and get that level 5 and be able to just farm safely under turret here.
Now, putting 2 kills on that Kog'Maw with that failed, what I would consider a failed turret dive, considering you didn't get out with all your members, it really swings the tempo for bot lane. What they did have with a first blood and being able to get an early kill on Bootwear now looks like a 2-kill X reloaded, being able to back on a recurve bot. He's much stronger than the Ezreal Karma right now. He's in terms of actual damage output, and he's that much closer to his first item. So it'll be interesting to see how this bot lane plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like NIU pinging on towards those grubs, and so they're going to look to see if they can get high priority. Both junglers electing instead to try to go for this early dragon, this Cloud Drake to start. It does look like we could see a fight over this one, as Sylas has been able to rotate a little bit quicker, and Broccoli going to be found out. He is going to be forced to flash, and so NIU might just try to recontest this. And yeah, it doesn't look like Olaf feels like he's strong enough to be able to do this. NIU will dive forward, but that's going to be a re-engage coming through from Jarvan with the flag and drag. Not able to grab it yet, but it will be Broccoli rooted down. He's going to fall. Will NIU be able to turn this one around? They're able to get 1 out of it, so now it's a 1 for 2 in favor of Buffalo. Fishy Fizz dropping scarily low, and now that's going to be the re-engage coming through from the Rakan. Is it going to be enough? Yes, that's going to be 1. Be Chillin able to grab the 1. Now the 2 going over towards Be Chillin, and Fishy Fizz in a really bad position here. Rakan could be able to finish this one off, and yes, Fishy Fizz is going to fall as well. 7-5 in favor of NIU, and a really, really nice job of getting that early lead here against one of the stronger teams in the conference in Buffalo.
Things may have looked a little disjointed at the beginning there, but I think they really cleaned it up with being able to find the most they could get out of that fight.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw that was just a really nice job of roaming and changing priorities here from B Chillin, able to grab himself 3 kills in that fight. Actually, sorry, 2 in that fight, but did have 1 before. So now sitting at 3-0-1. Olaf and Karma and Silas, for that matter, all sitting up towards these grubs, and so Buffalo really putting high prioritization on these. But at 7.5 minutes, you're already looking at a potential late grub, and there may not really be enough priority on these to be able to get the level. To be able to get both sets before that Rift Herald does spawn. That's something that, you know, as a jungler, I've started noticing is that you really want to get them on spawn, because if you wait 2-3 minutes, by the time the second set respawns, you're really cutting it close to being able to get those before the Rift Herald spawns and, you know, force despawns the Krug or the grubs. It is going to be a fight over them. NIU able to grab 1, potentially 2. Yep, Olaf able to grab 1 of his own. And so, if you wouldn't mind pulling up the scoreboard for me real quick, we'll see real quick if we're able to. I'm sorry, you're not able to do that on this one. I forgot about that. Yeah, so grubs did go over 2 towards the side of Buffalo. NIU able to grab 1 of their own. So now it really just takes 1 from NIU in that second set to be able to prioritize that.
What are we looking for here?
Yeah, we're looking at bush cheese here. That's going to be found by Olaf, and NIU decides to just back away from it. But be chill and throwing that root over the wall. Now that's going to be the Ragnarok put down by Olaf. We'll see if he's able to grab anything. Yeah, that's going to be the 1 kill going over towards Silas. Teleport does come through from NIU's top laner. Kennen going to be here, but a little bit late. We'll see. No, it does get canceled, so that's going to be a dive going through. And so it is 2-0 in favor of Buffalo. And I don't know that NIU really has the members here to be able to contest this dragon or even refight this. Although Buffalo has decided that they're taken a little too low, so they're not going to be able to go for the Drake. NIU does a nice job of delaying that enough, but it does mean that NIU won't be able to answer the kills here.
Top lane, kind of as expected, is going killless. They've both looked for potential roams, but that first one being canceled by the Aatrox. I don't know how much impact that actually has. The Aatrox didn't have TP anyways to respond, so we'll have to see what happens with the top lane TP timers and how that affects the next team fight.
Yeah, I mean, Aatrox has his very soon. Obviously, with that cancel, not really the same case for Kennen here of Fury, but yeah, that means Aatrox has just walked down, so he's going to look to contest this and then potentially TP back towards the top lane. I don't know that they're really going to find a whole lot out of this. NIU does have a lot of priority. Olaf is going to step forward. It looks like it's a little hard to see from being from this angle whether or not the upgraded smites have come out for these junglers, but
they have for both
in the
currently.
Both of them have
we're sitting on 900 smites right now, not the 1200.
Okay, perfect. And so yeah, that did mean that it was a little risky for Broccoli to stick around there. So NIU electing to just take their losses and not, and cut them there. And it does mean that first Drake, that Cloud does go over towards the side of Buffalo. Honestly, in the end, that's not going to be the biggest situation, as Ezreal just going to use the ultimate there to early engage, and an interesting choice. Now, Olaf is here, and the flash does come out from Beachillin as well as the ultimate, and now with the Ragnarok proc, it does mean that Beachillin is going to fall. Kind of forced to flash aggressively there, or defensively, I should say. Now, oh, nicely done with the Kennen. Storm able to grab the stun, and that does mean that 2 shutdowns go over towards the side of NIU. Broccoli able to grab the first one, and Fury getting on the board 1-0-1 with that really nice play. And Bootware now might be in a little bit of a disadvantageous position. The Karma is in a really nice spot, flashing over the wall. The Ignite does come through, but that is going to be the kill going over towards Fishy Fizz. And Fury gets flashed out of there. Now that's a nice stun, and it will mean that he should be able to escape this one. Really nicely played by Fury to be able to keep this one from being dove. We'll see as the World Ender does end.
He's got the red buff, so the longer he delays, the safer he will be. Broccoli up here looking for a potential dive prevention. So is Bootware.
Bootware is also here. That's going to have to be the ghost from Mumu Slay, and it's still going to be the knock-up coming through as the Rakan was able to follow that up. Be Chillin' is here too, but it won't be enough. NIU going to have to back away from this one. They may be able to just push the wave, but the most crucial part about this is that the grubs are up, so NIU can at least deny that first grub to mean that you won't, Buffalo won't get won't get 5. They won't be able to have the, there's the one going over towards NIU. So they'll either find themselves on 4, or Buffalo will find themselves on 5 or on 4, and they'll split it. Either way, this was a really nice play by NIU. There's the split at least, and now it does look like Buffalo will want to re-engage here. Jarvan going to be able to get out. Now that's going to be the ultimate from Rakan. We'll see Jarvan get over the wall, and really nicely done. Now we'll see if they're able to keep this going as that's going to be Aatrox diving back on in. That's going to be, as well, the engage coming through from Broccoli. Does mean that Broccoli will fall, but we'll see if NIU is able to grab anything out of this. That's now going to be 1 kill. Chillin to be able to grab his first with the ultimate, and that puts the Sylas in a bad position. Fury will grab that kill, and overall, these kills are going extremely even. Gold is slightly in favor of Buffalo. A lot of that, I would argue, probably has to do with the fact that Kennen is down about... Yeah, there's a couple of lanes that are down about 20 CS. Now, this could be... that's Karma in a rough position. That's the ultimate, and that's going to be the kill going over towards Extra Loaded. Really nicely done to catch out this Karma. And NIU slowly but surely scaling into this game and finding themselves in a really nice position.
Now, Connor, what do we think of these builds? I know it may be a little hard to see based on how we're spectating with you right now, but I see an experimental Hexblade on Olaf. I see a Luden's Companion on a Sylas. I see Malignance, which does make a lot of sense on the Karma. I see a Trailblazer Rush coming out of Bootware on the Rakan, trying to look for, I guess, as many roams as possible.
I think that... Sorry, go ahead.
Orb top lane to shut down the healing early on the Aatrox, coming off of the Kennen. It's some very interesting item choices in this new meta.
I mean, I definitely think that all those are very solid choices. The one I would maybe argue is a bit of an interesting choice is the experimental Hexblade. I know that in a lot of the analysis that I've been hearing and seeing about pro play, kind of the overarching narrative as we are going to see Be Chillin' in a tough spot, does not have vision here, and this is going to force... Is there a flash available? Not quite. The ult is going to mean that the stun comes through, but it won't be enough. We'll be trying to trade something back, and wow, actually takes that Karma down to about 1 HP. But NIU able to do something good on the map and trade this for the Herald. So, I mean, overall, it's not the worst death, forcing 3 down towards them. That's true. Somebody needs to get that eye.
Okay.
Yeah, Broccoli's going to go back for it.
To pick up the Herald. Very nice.
Yes. Anyway, going back towards those builds, Experimental Hexblade has been a lot of talk about whether it's really a strong item or not, and it seems like it's a very use case scenario. And so I'm not really sure if it's the right choice here. We'll have to see. But generally, I've heard mixed reviews. I do really like the anti-heal coming out from NIU. I think that that's a great idea into an Olaf and an Aatrox. Now, NIU with Jarvan looking to just pressure and shake out some of this vision. But yeah, we're looking around, and it is just going to be NIU trying to hold off and farm up some of these waves. About 1.5k the gold deficit, about 2, I should say. Not too bad. Now that's Olaf in a tough spot, but is it going to be enough? Nice flash comes in from Be Chillin', but will he be able to grab anything? Now that's going to be the ult coming through, and yeah, actually Rakan doing a great job. Oh my goodness, using the ultimate to just stun them all. or I guess charm them all, and then getting out of there. So a really, really nice job by NIU, able to grab the, keep everybody alive out of that one, in what looked like at least a certain pick for the side of Buffalo.
Now, when we were talking about items, I find it very interesting to see the Aatrox with a Propane Hydra, almost sending a statement to NIU that he thinks that he will be able to carry this game from an 0-1 position, because being on such an offensive item with no need for defensive stats almost seems like him taunting them. Which we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, it certainly is an interesting choice. I would also argue that it kind of pushes towards arguing that he's just going to split push the entire game. I mean, depending on what he follows it up with, I would imagine if you see the Hullbreaker coming out second, then I would have to, argue that that's definitely a split push heavy build. We're seeing Rakan potentially get found out here. Bootware able to walk away, just clearing out some vision in their own jungle, I should say, and looking through. It's just going to be NIU trying to grab some vision around. We did see Buffalo go ahead and grab that second dragon. Now Broccoli is here, but this is a pretty tanky Olaf, and so Broccoli just going to have to get away from that. It is going to now be the potential dive, but there is going to be the Rakan here, and that's going to be the charm. The Ragnarok does land, but going to have to be fighting on two different flanks as NIU, and now be chilling in a tough spot. We'll see if he's able to grab anything. Not able to get out with that one, but NIU able to grab one kill on towards the Olaf as the Ragnarok does expire. NIU going to be now fighting this one back because they do have the better front-to-back positioning for this game, and we'll see. They're going to go ahead and dive forward with Bootware. Not able to grab a whole lot out of that. NIU just goes ahead and uses the Herald. We'll see what they want to do with this. They're going to go ahead and use it to try to knock up the Aatrox, and they do get that. So just circling around, knocking him up again. And this a second now. Now flashing out, extra loaded in a tough spot, but this is the stolen ultimate. The Silas goes ahead and uses Rakan's ultimate, and it is going to mean the kill goes over towards the side of Buffalo against Broccoli here. And so NIU just sticking around a little too long does mean Fishy Fizz is able to get the turret here in the mid lane. Overall, probably a play that goes in favor of Buffalo a little bit, but NIU gonna look to find this. Oh no, they're not gonna check the bush. Fury, he's right there! No! He walks away, and Buffalo's able to escape. We're having a Bears debate in the chat, I see.
Very interesting. And I was told
first round talent
on my mic.
You need to turn up your... Okay, what I would argue is maybe you need to turn down the game mic. It would be my argument.
Okay.
So the desktop audio maybe should go down just a tiny bit. I can see it's maybe going up a little too much. There you go, and right about there, yeah. Let's do that.
Perfect.
And I would 100% agree. If the Bears don't draft B. Chillin in this upcoming draft with the first overall pick, I mean, they are trolling in that case. Looking at it, this is B. Chillin potentially getting caught out. He's going to use the ultimate, but is not going to be able to grab anything else out of that. This is going to set up for Buffalo to grab that third Drake and put themselves on a not that early Dragon Soul point. I mean, it is Mountain. It is a best of 3 as well. Yes, this is a best of 3. Looking at it, NIU just needing to do what they can to kind of stave off this mid-game pressure. Aatrox obviously is scaling, but NIU does have some scaling members of their team comp as well, especially that Kog'Maw, who now is on the he's on the Blade of the Ruined King. He's very, very close to being able to grab his second item here. Does have the Hearthbound Axe, which leads me to believe he's probably building towards Rageblade, I would want to say. Depends on what that next item or what the next back ends up being in the reset. Yeah, overall, Fury just about caught, but able to get away with that cannon. Now kiting back, and we'll see as this is Aatrox definitely going in. Ultimate comes through from Fury, he's going to have to use that in response to the World Ender. So it is just a trade of ultimates here in the top lane.
And as you said, here comes the Ginsu's Rage Blade for the Kog'Maw on X Reloaded. Items are looking pretty standard on these second buys. I think it was more interesting to see what everybody was doing first buy.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's going to be a pick coming in towards towards the Aatrox. NIU going to be able to grab that with the Cataclysm. No, he's just healing on through that. Now it's going to be chill and grabbing that kill, but it is going to be traded back. And now this is Silas grabbing one, Ezreal grabbing a second, and Olaf grabbing a third. And Fury now is in a rough spot, not going to be able to grab anything out of this. And unfortunately, while NIU got the great pick on towards the Aatrox, or got the pick on towards Karma, it did end up being that Kog'Maw wasn't there to be able to answer, and so unfortunately Buffalo was at that time. They were getting ready to start up that Baron, or at least bait towards it, and so Baron Nashor will go over towards the side of Buffalo, and they'll get it on every single member, which is, you know, you saw it there, 325 gold per team member, a lot of gold in the pockets, but also that extreme wave buff is going to be a tough one to deal with. So we'll have to see if NIU is able to fight through this at any point.
And when you look at the level differential of the Huskies versus Buffalo right now, it's very interesting to see. Not only is there a surmounting gold lead that only continues to grow, but it seems like the XP lead is starting to make it near impossible to take good, even team fights. They're going to have to look for picks. They're going to have to look for somebody caught out, and it's kind of on Buffalo to make the mistake right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is definitely getting to the point where you might have expected, with Buffalo being a little bit being ahead. I mean, the team comp is a little bit easier to execute in the long run, but I think there's definitely NIU has an opportunity here. If they're able to stun, you know, that's some damage on towards Aatrox, and you know, they just need to continue to scale into this one, and they're certainly not out of it by this point. You know, there's one big team fight can really turn this game around. It looks like the gold lead's about 8,000 right now in favor of Buffalo, which is large. I mean, I'm not gonna. I'll be frank. It's a pretty big gold lead, but it's not insurmountable by any means. And wow, that Chains of Corruption, I did not think that landed. Or that's not Chains of but yeah, the Chains I didn't think landed. But they did, in fact. So that does mean that the dash comes through from Silas. Ultimate going to be stolen, the Rakan ulti there from by Silas. So now NIU really just having to deal with this 1-3-1 that's with the split push on all three sides. Yeah, that's the Gore Drinker going to be used, or not Gore Drinker, Maw. Maw going to be used there by Aatrox, and nicely done by Fury, able to grab the kill on towards him. Does mean that NIU will lose one inhibitor on the bot side, but now they're able to rotate down and just answer this 1-3 instead of the 1-3-1. Dash comes forward with the chains. Now that's going to be a lot of damage flashed on top of it, and despite that, Ezreal ulti is used, and that was about it. So NIU going to have to expel 2 flashes to answer that, unfortunately.
Well, 3 dragons down, about 10k gold. It could be better, but quite honestly, I think they've shown that there's lots to be done with this comp. I think that they had a great early game in looking for picks and looking for various plays against Buffalo. I don't think they are anywhere close to being out of this series or out of this game for that matter.
No, definitely not. I mean, they're going to look to take this vision, and I mean, that is the bush that if you're going to fight over any of the bushes in this new map, that is the one you need to for Dragon. Unfortunately, there's just another control ward able to be placed as soon as they clear out the one. And now this is Buffalo. Yeah, NIU going to get caught in a bad spot. They're going to be able to follow up some damage, but it doesn't really look like it's enough. Unfortunately, the Dragon was all a bait, and This is going to be Broccoli versus the world, 1 versus 5, potentially a clean ace here. That's going to be Broccoli dashing away, but he's going to be pulled back by the infernal chains. And that is going to be it. It's going to be game one, going over towards the side of Buffalo in the clean ace. Unfortunate way to end the game, but NIU doing a nice job of putting some priority there in the early game and really actually taking the early game to Buffalo and not rolling over without a fight. So we'll see what ends up happening in game number 2. We will be back very shortly with that second match. But yeah, Charles, what do you think needs to change to make Matt or to make the second game uh, tilt in NIU's favor?
I think the biggest thing is looking for making sure that we have a Silas ban on the table. Um, I think that Silas takes away a lot of B Chillin's options to play very high impact support or high impact mid laners with huge ultimates. Being able to maybe dodge a Maokai ban, if they ban Maokai again, it will be rough. But I think that the key is high impact. AoE, being able to build almost a death ball, which is kind of what they were going for on that comp minus the Kog'Maw. I think that there is a lot that they can find in terms of making not only pick plays, but being able to really take it to them once they have a lead in team fights.
Yeah, absolutely. And this time we're getting the not scuffed cast. I will be actually in the game able to take a look at things this time. So yeah, we'll see that going through for game number 2. Um, looks like NIU I believe is going to look towards the blue side for this one. It looks like that's kind of how they're starting to set up. We will see. And we should be into game number 2 very shortly. So yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of room for some higher prioritization on some of those higher impact picks for B Chillin. I think Fury doing a really nice job of holding his own in that one. I mean, this is a team from Buffalo that has a couple of grandmasters and a couple of challenger peak players. So I mean, this is not a weak team by any means, and NIU doing a really nice job of holding their own footing throughout that one. So I am interested to see how this second game is going to go. I think there's definitely some opportunities for NIU to continue to put some priority there. Um,
Yeah, it'll be. I'm a very big believer in the idea of draft chess, and that based on what side you get, it's like playing white or black on chess and having to be more reactive or prioritize your own picks depending on which side you get. So I think it all comes down to what side they choose to start. And we'll be seeing that here shortly as they get the lobby going. But I mean, based off that fact, that then brings in a whole slew of other questions of what they want to play and what they want to look towards. Um, but I'll be very interested to see what ends up getting brought in as their priority picks. What kind of comp they end up looking for, because it's the beautiful thing about League of Legends. There's all sorts of ways to play the same game on the same map.
hmm I would 100% agree here. So what we have as we NIU is going to go towards red side. Okay, so that's what's going to go on with this. Um,
Okay. So thinking about a red side draft, I mean, you're wanting to prioritize either the bot lane and the jungle, or possibly the bot lane and a solo lane. With those first two picks after being but like I said, it's like having to play black on chess, where you have to respond rather than be the first person to make that move. So it'll be very interesting to see what they decide and what they respond to with that first pick coming out of Buffalo. But only time will tell.
yeah, I'm really curious to see what direction they take that first pick. Like you said, I think there's a few different options. I think the karma is really impactful across the board. I know we've seen uh, I know there's been talk of potentially flexing it around with NIU. I know Coach Bradley Bebo. I'm so boosted. Why? He's been playing a little bit of Karma Top himself, trying to really get a feel for how it impacts things. Um, Looking at it, it's going to be the. Let's see. Looks like they're just getting people moved into the right positions here, so we should be ready to go pretty soon. But yeah, even looking at right now, with kind of to give an idea of what we have in terms of NIU's levels and comps and everything. Um, yes, it's early into the season, so ranks aren't the end all be all of things. They're, I would argue that they're not ready, considering that that we have a mix of team comps, but that's
Right.
okay. um, anyway, I mean, there's a couple masters, 3 masters on like current ranks for Buffalo. Um, for NIU, you're looking at a couple of emeralds, some diamonds, a mix of that, and obviously things are going to even out as the season goes on. But yeah, it's still it's very interesting to see how that's going to how they're able to hold their own despite kind of that rank differential that might on paper mean that it's a little bit difficult. We had a Cho'Gath bot in here that would have been
Very
interesting
interesting.
too.
Very interesting. Testing
Wow,
out Riot's new AI.
absolutely. Look at that. I didn't even realize Be Chillin' sitting at level 1024. This man
What can I say? This
grinding
man
league.
plays the game.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it looks like we're finally in order. We're going to get ready to go into game. Yep, there we are. We're into Champ Select for game number 2. All right. Rumble taken off the board. As we expected, that is probably the highest priority champ in the game right now.
And not only
Uh,
is it high priority, but I mean, be chilling with 500 games of it last season. So you know that that is the meaning of the word comfort comes from that Rumble pick. Um,
y- I mean, Be
after,
Chillin' being one of the top, like I think he's top 25 Rumbles in the world, or not, maybe not world, but in NA at least. He's a very solid Rumble. We've seen it like one time last year. It was let through.
now again, the Maokai ban. We're not banning Melio this time because we're not revealing our hand on NIU side, but we are taking away the highest win rate and pick rate champion in the game right now, Miss Fortune, with a 20% pick rate and a 53% win rate.
Yes. I mean, so looking at it though, NIU's answer to that Aatrox was the Kennen last game, and it was a very solid answer. Kennen gets banned away. Buffalo goes right back towards that Aatrox. I'm kind of oh wow, Gwen. I mean, I've
Oh.
seen this as a counter, and I know that Fury likes to play it. Okay, we'll see the Gwen come out as a counter to Aatrox. I like the pick. Now, what we didn't see, and I think, giving props where it's due, I think this is a really good draft, draft adjustment by the side of Buffalo. We didn't see the Corky ban come out, and I think that that's really important because with the side of NIU, I don't really think you're going to see a Corky come out just by itself. It's really there to be an answer and a stall pick against the Aatrox. And so with the not the Aatrox, the Azir, sorry. And with the Azir banned away, I really don't think that there's much reason to put a ban towards the Corky. And so uh, Buffalo doing a really good job of adjusting and taking that away from their bans and kind of using that elsewhere. Jinx and Jin going to be the bot lane choices here. We're going to see a lethality Jin with a possible lethality support. I know we've seen a little bit of that before the support itemization changes for this patch.
Yeah, we haven't seen any. I mean, Senna is a solid pick. Oh, they're going to take away the Graves from Broccoli. Broccoli has been playing a fair amount of the Graves in solo queue, enjoying the champion a lot. So it makes sense that if looking at his profile, that's something that they want to be taking away as a priority pick. But when it comes to being comfortable on a champion, you usually know what you hate playing against. However, it looks like we're going to be picking the Tom Kench, which I would assume, if not being top lane, because we have the Gwen pick already, we're most likely going to see it in support. Seen a lot in the LCK and the LPL. They love bringing that champion bot lane. I'm also a fan as a support main myself. I think that the Catfish has a place down there, but we'll
I
have to
really think he
see.
pairs well with the Jinx. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think you've got the double poke with the W, the zap, and the tongue lash. I really think that that's a good possible combo. And I mean, Tom Kench can then sit next to the Jinx, and sure, it's not as powerful, the Devour, as it once was when it was his E, to be able to devour and then um, always have that available. But now that it's on his ultimate, it's a little higher cooldown, but it still is a really good option if you got that Jinx to be able to step a little further forward and give her some safety.
And it does give a massive shield now. So we will, and there goes the Corki on ban 5. The Xin Zhao that was previously hovered gets banned away from NIU. What will Broccoli's counter be to this Graves? Like I was saying, he's very comfortable on the champion, so I feel like he should know some champions that kind of deny this. And here comes the Wukong,
Yeah, I think
invisible
this is a
monkey,
solid
ready
hover
to
into it.
go.
Yeah, I mean it's a really solid hover into the Graves. And now it's going to be locked, so I think it's a solid pick. I just got done complimenting Buffalo's choice not to ban the Corki, and then they go and make me eat my words, and they ban the Corki, and I have to say I really don't like that as a choice. I think it's a wasted ban. I really don't think NIU is going to pick that. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I could be completely wrong here. Nico going to be picked up here, likely going to support, considering that the Zed and the Akali are being hovered. This has got to be the pick for the mid lane here, and it is going to be the Akali going towards that. What was banned last game for from NIU? I think there's just it's more of a comfort here for Buffalo's mid laner, and though it does leave NIU with the opportunity to counter this with their final pick, and they'll hover the Vex. It's an interesting pick from B Chillin. It definitely synergizes well with the ability to disengage that a lot of the champs in this comp have, and so I'm excited to see how this one's all going to play around it.
Now, if we notice, for a team that won game one, it's very interesting that you're taking a bunch of comfort champions from the team that you just beat game one in your own picks. They took B Chillin's Nico, they took possibly X Reloaded's Jin, they took Fury's Aatrox, they took Broccoli's Graves. They tried to play what they thought was their comfort champion mid lane. It's interesting how this draft worked out with them kind of saying, "Hey, here, look, we're gonna take the champions that we see you guys playing in solo queue, and you're gonna have to play against them." If anything, um, I think that NIU should be prepared for something like this, considering that they know what these champions do. There's no question of what combos look like, of what item spikes look like. Um, I think that I think that this will be a very interesting game in how everything ends up working out. I'm excited to see the early game. Connor, what lane would you like to focus this game? What seemed like the most interesting matchup for you?
I think there was a lot of priority on that bot lane with that game one, and I really think that there's still going to be a lot of priority towards that bot lane. I think it's a really solid matchup here that Jin and Tom Kench, or sorry, Jinx and Tom Kench into the Jin and Nico. Uh, Jin and Nico, obviously Jin going to want to play a little bit further back, and Nico looking for the engages. Tom Kench kind of doing the same thing, but with a little more safety with the tankiness. I think if NIU is able to survive through, if their bot lane's able to survive or even get a lead within that first like 6 levels of the game, I really feel like that puts them in a nice spot to be able to take over, especially with that hyper carry on the Jinx. I mean, the um, the Jin can carry if he's given a lead early, but if NIU is able to do enough to shut him down, it will mean that long term, uh, NIU will have that scaling advantage on the bot lane at least. I mean, generally their comp is pretty good at scaling. I mean, you've got the Gwen, you've got Vex, Jinx. Those are all going to scale pretty darn heavily. Aatrox going to scale on the side of Buffalo, but I really don't feel like it's as late game of a comp as even we saw last game. from the side of Buffalo. So I am pretty curious to see how this one's going to go. I think there's a lot of priority, like I said last game, once again on the spot lane here.
And I think when you speak about that priority of bot lane, I think that mid lane is actually a point of contention in the sense that whoever gets to shove the wave faster in roam and hit that first move is probably going to be able to swing the outcome of these high priority lanes like bot lane and even the brawl that's probably going to happen top lane. They both have pretty good mobility with Akali and Vex, especially once we're post 6 and Vex gets ulti. It'll be very interesting to see who gets that first move and who has to be the one trailing behind and following on those roams. I would assume, I know we haven't seen summoner spells yet, but I would assume we're seeing TPs out of both top lane and mid lane as well. The other thing I think that we have to watch out for is the Nico. The Nico support is going to make it very difficult to be able to look for crazy engages if we don't know where she is and all of a sudden she's turning into a minion and the fight gets turned because of a massive Nico ulti. So we'll have to be on the lookout for that, but let's get into it.
Yeah, looking at it now too, we're looking at the let me see. As I'm pulling things up for myself, how do you get timers again? I'm losing the it's objective timers. There we go. Got it back. Cool. So looking at it across the board, we do see that's going to be the let's go through the runes, I should say. As we see a lot of Conqueror, Aatrox doing Conqueror, Fleet Footwork on the Graves. Wow, that is a lot of Fleet Footworks. They really want to be fast on the side of Buffalo. 3 Fleet Footworks, and then the Arcane Comet on the support here. On the side of NIU, you've got 2 Conquerors. That is an Electrocute, then a Lethal Tempo, and an Aftershock for the side of NIU.
Very interesting coming out. Guardian coming out of NIU, yeah.
Guardian, thank you, not Aftershock. Thank you.
I was going to say, Aftershock Tom Kench could be interesting, though. There is some talk of him being able to get a stun and then walk up for a free trade, but I think Guardian is the better move. Now, again, we're looking at X Reloaded with a Cull purchase. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually like it in this situation, considering that they're wanting to play it safe and try to get, as long as they don't die in the early game, they're ahead. Once again, we're seeing the side of Buffalo start their jungler towards the top side, though, and so I'm a little concerned for them on that one. I really feel like it isn't the priority that you're looking for in the current meta, so we'll have to see. Now, despite me saying that I thought that the Cull was a good choice, I don't necessarily like that with that NIU's pushing in this wave. I do like the, trying to farm as much as you can. I don't necessarily like the early kind of shove towards the wave. But be chilling with an early level 2. Could potentially look for something. Ooh, Tongue Lash just not going to land. Mumu Slay. That one was close. There might have been vision towards him from the NIU side. We'll have to see if there wasn't any pings that came out, though, so I'm not 100% sure on that one as we go across. Otherwise, both junglers going top to bot. They're going to try to converge at level 4 on this with a full clear. Now, nice damage coming through from Beachillin on towards this Akali, and just traded right back. Electrocute does get procced, so yeah. Now we are going to see Buffalo does ping that that Broccoli is there, although they're not 100% sure. They're pinging kind of off of where he is, so they don't quite know that he's at his blue. Gwen going to be taken kind of low here, and now going to be forced to trade this one out, and not really going to get a whole lot of healing right back there. So really, I think the big priority we're going to see is that bot lane once this all starts up, so we should be seeing that rather shortly. As, yeah, both junglers are showing up towards the bot lane here. I'm not really sure that Buffalo knows that that Broccoli is here, but yeah, now they do. But Vex is going to be who's going to get collapsed on. Graves is going up towards that, and Fury taken very low. That's going to be first blood going over towards the Aatrox. Unfortunate. Fishy Fizz, though, going to be engaged on. That's going to be taking him low. We'll see if they're able to grab anything off of it. Will they be able to get the stun? No, they will not. Broccoli not going to be able to follow this up. Although that Ghost is still kind of ticking away. They do have vision, I'm sorry, on Broccoli, and so it will be Buffalo just walking away.
Well, an early advantage. Oh, but we look at a Tom Kench engage potentially coming out of Bootwear. Just a simple trade.
Just a lot of
right
damage
there.
trade.
Yeah, just damage trade. Nothing too intense. We didn't really get to see that first blood top lane. Oh, we have another engage from Bootwear.
Yeah, I'm not.
Off of that.
This is the one thing that I get a little concerned with the Tom Kench pick is it's very telegraphed that you are going to go forward and you're going to try to zone them off the wave by engaging, and unfortunately you get certain situations like this where they can then just turn it around and double stun you. Broccoli also in a fight here, as that's going to be the Ghost now popped by Graves. It's going to be the flash follow with Broccoli going across. Chillin just going to dodge away from that Shuriken. And so it will mean that that's got to be the grub started up here by Graves, and now you will likely just go ahead and try to prioritize this bot lane and go towards the dragon instead. Chillin taken low, and now he's going to be killed off as well. Yeah, just a lot of burst damage coming through from the Akali, and the first grub does go over towards the side of the Graves. Fury in a rough spot here. If he does get caught, not going to do so. Just going to walk out. And so it is a tough situation overall. And yeah, that's going to be 3 Void Grubs now here for the side of Buffalo. They're doing a better job of tracking Broccoli's pathing here. I think the creativity is something that he was able to do last game a little bit well, and unfortunately, just the early disadvantage has meant that it hasn't been as much of an option in game number 2. He does start up the dragon, and it looks like Buffalo is going to look to collapse on this, and I think Broccoli is just going to have to disengage from this. Now the bot lane for NIU is roaming over a little bit. Extra Loaded does dodge away from that. Nicely done to dash forward. That's going to force the ultimate out from Akali. She's going to be taken very low, but with there's the damage. Broccoli also going to be taken low. Now that's going to be one going over towards NIU, but will it be enough? Mumu Slay also taken down a little bit lower here. Flash comes forward. Now it's going to be traded back, and does flash away the Vex, but with the Ignite, going to mean that they can't re-engage here, and so the Dragon will go over towards the side of Buffalo, despite and a 2-to-1, I believe, in kills, to make it a 4-to-1 kill game in this one.
Now this was very much the thing I brought up at the beginning of the game, where it was going to be about who had first move. Now I know that there was a little bit of a disadvantage. There was a kill differential in the mid lane, but if you notice, that Akali was walking down to that dragon immediately, had the wave shoved, ready to collapse, and it gave them that advantage to have an off numbers fight earlier than having NIU respond. But I mean, down but not out, as I like to say. I think that there's still a lot to be taken in this game. We have a kill on the Jinx, which is very good. Like that champion is known to snowball quite rapidly. So getting a couple more kills bot side could be the answer to bring NIU back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, this also with the top lane matchup, unfortunately, Fury was not having as fun of a time in this early game as he did last game. It was down about, still is down about 23 CS. At one point, it was about 30 to 40 CS, and had the 2-level disadvantage. Now has gotten up to have 6, but he is just kind of getting, it's a little more difficult to play this matchup until you have some levels on Gwen. And so NIU just going to have to try to keep Fury from from taking too much damage, and really getting zoned off the wave too much. And as I say that, Graves is really going up towards the top lane once again to try to just bully the Gwen off of the lane again. And now ult is available for Gwen. That's World Ender now going to be used, and Fury able to grab a little bit of damage, but not able to grab anything else, and does mean that the death comes through. Bootware able to flash out of there, does get the shielding, and that is Broccoli going to be there, but now going to get stunned up. And so it will be the kill going over towards Buffalo with no answer for NIU here. Ghost from Fishy Fizz, going to mean that he's just taking not really much damage as he goes ahead and walks forward, able to grab the damage on towards Jinx.
Yeah, and that Ghost on Graves is very interesting to me. I've noticed it a couple of times in these fights when it's up. I guess it's because the jungler is more used to playing things like the Olaf and running people down. I would assume that Flash would be a better summoner spell, but it's been interesting to see in some of these fights with the Ghost as summoner.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it here too, Graves definitely going for the stacking energy build. Has the Voltaic Cyclosword to start. Looks like Fury now looking to be down, about 40 CS. The Brutalizer already completed on, or that component already grabbed for the Aatrox as well as the Tiamat. NIU not really able to do a whole lot about it here. They're going to try to maybe steal a Krug or a Grub or two, but I'm not really sure they have much opportunity to do so. Fury going to look to maybe zone somebody off and not able to grab anything there. And NIU just elects to back away from this one. They'll give up all 6 grubs to the side of Buffalo on this one. And we'll see if they're able to get anything in response, but at the moment it doesn't look like that's going to be the case.
Some good attempted trades out of Fury top lane. It's hard when you're at this CS disadvantage and item disadvantage to really make a lot of these trades favorable for yourself, but he's doing his best to dodge as many skill shots as he can with that Gwen W.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing a good job of dodging some of them. It's just, unfortunately, there's going to be the engage with his ult, and not able to grab the second one. But the third does land. Just, when, like you said, when you're at that level and item disadvantage, you just do so much less than your opponent. Now, this is probably going to be a dive with World Ender towards the top lane. Graves is here. We'll see if he's willing to go in. And yeah, there it is. There's the World Ender. Ult is not available for the side of Fury. That'll be the turret aggro traded as well, and so it will just be the kills going over towards the side of Buffalo. Now that's going to be the ult coming through from Akali, and there's the damage. Broccoli able to do a nice job, and now Graves is here, flashes forward. That's going to be the reuse of the ult. Doesn't mean that it's traded back, but Beach unable to grab one of his own, and so it will be the NIU getting the shutdown there on towards Moo Slay. And Extra Loaded going to be able to grab a plate of his own, so a nice gold swing there towards the side of NIU. In the end, you're about 5,000 gold down still. And so NIU going to look to engage here. They don't have ultimate available for the Gwen, but there's going to be the dash forward. Ult comes through from the Nico. Bootware going to be taken low as well, and now this is just turned around. NIU biting off a little more than they can chew in that fight. They thought they might have had the pick, but without the Gwen ultimate available, it kind of was a bit of a greedy play. And Beachillin now going to be found out here. He's going to dodge away from the stuns. Aatrox just, wow, that damage is ridiculous. As that is the finished Profane Hydra. And so second Drake will also go over towards the side of Buffalo. And this one is scaling a little bit more quickly than game number 1 did.
Yeah. I would like to retake my statement from game 1 about him taunting with the Profane Hydra back. I think it's just a better build than some other Aatrox builds right now. It looks like his damage output is just insane.
Yeah, I mean, it gives you... It feels like Profane Hydra is kind of that... What kind of what Ravenous used to be, and now Ravenous is kind of like somewhere in between what Titanic and old Ravenous was, and so um, seems like it definitely is a pickup that Aatrox likes. I mean, he used to really like the Ravenous Hydra. That's going to be the Devour used. We're going to keep extra loaded safe for a little bit longer. We'll see how they do, if they're able to do much, and they're just trading aggro back and forth, and unfortunately, in the end, there's just too much damage coming through from the side of Buffalo. Be chilling here, but gonna have to flash away. Will he be able to grab anything? That's the taunt away. Now the damage goes through, but that is going to be a Kali falling to be chilling. Now Fury is here as well, so we'll see if he's able to grab anything. Yep, he's able to grab one of his own, and so they'll trade back something at least. But it is the 3 for 2 in favor of Buffalo at this point, and they'll just ping straight onto that Herald and start that up as soon as they're there.
Hopefully this time somebody on NIU is able to pick up the Herald in time, but I think it was just a little miscommunication on game 1.
I think they did pick up the
they
Herald
ended
by
up
the
picking
end.
it up, yeah, because they had the great Jarvan play of knocking
Oh, that's right.
Aatrox almost 3 times.
Yes. All right, now does look like Buffalo is going to go ahead and start this up. We'll see if NIU is willing to go in and contest this. I would imagine they're probably not going to be, especially with 5 members of Buffalo up, or 4 members, I'm sorry, up towards this Herald, and NIU, yeah, does just elect to back away from things. 4-0-0 on that Aatrox, and about 70 CS up is a tough spot to be in if you're Fury. I have the Herald on the Graves, so he's going to continue to push this forward. But we'll have to see. NIU actually finding a nice wraparound on towards the Akali here. As long as they can play at a kite distance, they will be able to grab the Akali, and yeah, they are. That's going to be a kill going over towards Broccoli. Nice shutdown gold. Fury going to do a nice job of dashing away from the Q1 there of the Aatrox, and he'll even take a turret shot, to be honest. So NIU doing a nice job of keeping their top laner safe here.
And I think the cross map pressure is very good. It's a good thing to look at when you see a lot of these players. Oh, forget that we have a Aatrox solo kill in the middle lane on B Chillin, leading him to 5-0.
Yeah, he had the World Ender there. I'm not even sure that he needed it, to be honest, but he did use it, and he ends up grabbing the kill. Now Graves going to go in once again. That's going to be the ultimate coming through from the Nico, who was hidden, and Mumu Slay going to grab that kill in the end, which will mean it is yet again a 2-0 in favor of Buffalo here, and NIU falling about 8,000 gold behind now. Extra loaded in a tough spot. Oh, not going to land the traps. Just barely were not online at the time that that the damage came through, or that the ultimate came through, I should say, from Akali. And now Fury not in a great spot, gonna have to try to get away from this one, as Broccoli also getting caught up. Now the knockup does come through. This could be the damage from B Chillin, able to grab one. The shutdown does come through for NIU. Are they going to be able to get B Chillin back out? It doesn't look like it. He will sacrifice his life to allow them to get that kill and to kill off the Rift Herald here. But at the same time, we're seeing simultaneously Jhin just going ahead and doing a bunch of damage towards that mid lane tier 2 turret.
Scaling up with his, he's only got Yomu's right now, making me believe that he probably has quite a lot of gold that he is sitting on. He is only 1-0-2, so it may not be as much gold as I'm thinking, but, and with his other teammates have, yep, and there we go, there's some components for what I believe is Collector, and getting tier 1 boots on the Jhin, giving him that much more of a combat advantage against the Jinx 1-on-1 right now.
Now Aatrox just going to go ahead and go in. Bootware going to flash away, but I think with the World Ender and the dash over the wall, flash forward does come through. Yeah, Akali's here, and that's going to be extra loaded and Bootware both falling. Their extra load's going to try to get out of that one, but it won't happen for him. Now that's going to be 18-7 in favor of Buffalo are the kills. The World Ender just going to be followed through, and unfortunately, despite that, Aatrox able to grab even more damage forward. NIU does make him have to back away, but Graves going to be grabbing the third Drake, putting Buffalo on Soul Point. And unfortunately, at the pace that they're taking this game, I'm not 100% sure that the Soul is going to matter. It's 18-7. It's a 10,000 gold lead. Overall, it's a strong spot for Buffalo. NIU does have that scaling comp though, so we'll see if they're able to grab anything off of it. Especially with that Storm Razor rush for the Jinx, it could potentially mean that once she gets that second Zeal item, maybe she'll be able to grab something. But now this is just a tough spot to be in, as this is Aatrox once again dashing forward, not even really landing anything, and yet just doing enough, putting enough of fear into the eyes of NIU that they're going to have to back away from that.
Yeah, the pressure of the 7-0 Aatrox is a very hard mountain to climb right now. As we see Graves pushing on to B-Chillin, coming out with another
I mean, B-Chillin just, unfortunately, with being down as far as he is, there's not really, there's just not enough damage that lands with that. Fishy Fizz is going to land one bullet on towards Jinx, and that'll be enough to kill off the ADC here for NIU. That's Broccoli also going to fall. Nope, a Devour does land, but NIU now going to have to back away. They won't have their ADC, and they won't have their mid laner here for this Baron fight. And fight might be a bit of an over exaggeration. For this Baron take here from Buffalo, I really don't think NIU has any opportunity to contest. But instead, they are going to try it. Fury going to be taken very low. B-Chillin going to teleport in and immediately be turned on. And yeah, with Fury taken low, there's the ultimate coming through from the Akali. NIU going to try to do something with damage on the end. It's going to be a double kill over towards the Akali. We're also going to fall. Aatrox going to take him down. And yeah, this Baron take, I exaggerated. They didn't even take the Baron. They're just going to end the game at this point, as they have the wave in the bot lane. No, not anymore. But they'll quickly have the wave in the bot lane to be able to do this. And they should be grabbing themselves game number 2. And the series here very shortly does Buffalo. But obviously, this is, and we've said it before, we'll say it again, this is very likely one of the, if not the toughest matchups that NIU will play throughout this entire season. And being able to hold their own in game number 1 should give them a lot of confidence that moving forward into the rest of the season, they are a very strong team, and I think they've got really some good opportunities to show that throughout this year and throughout this semester.
Yeah, and I think that there are certainly some picks that can be developed. I think the Kennen was very interesting to see today. I think that the Tahm Kench support is something that's very interesting to see. I'm not saying that they're not playing it well. I'm just saying that I think a little more games of practice with these picks and being able to figure out the game plan of what they want to be able to achieve with those picks will be very interesting to see how the season ends up turning out for them.
Yeah, and I mean, there's 8 teams out of the 14 that will make the playoffs in the end of the year, and I think from all of my talks with the team, that seems to be the goal. Is the Scryer's Bloom will mean that that Death Rush is going to be caught out, and Bootware, he's going to stick around. He's going to be dove on by the Akali. There's the damage coming through. That's going to be B-Chillin falling. Broccoli also going to be taken down here, as that's going to be a double kill over towards the Jhin. Extra loaded, uses the Ghost, but that is a ghosted Graves who already has a lot of attack speed, or sorry, move speed, and it is just going to be the continued wailing forward as Tahm Kench. I mean, just look at that. That is a tank and 2 carries trying to fight the Graves, and they'll get it one, but in the end it won't matter because they'll just take so much damage in doing so. And Extra Loaded now running for his life the opposite way from his base. He doesn't have any gap closers. Unfortunately, Aatrox does, and that is not the way that you want to get back towards your base if you're trying to keep these waves from ending the game. That's going to be 2 inhibitors going over towards the side of Buffalo. A lot of damage comes through from B-Chillin that time, and just not enough to get the kill on towards the Nico.
it won't matter as Buffalo will re-engage, and that will be match number 1 going in favor of Buffalo here. But NIU doing some good things, putting up some good fights, and I think they've put themselves, like we said, in a spot where they have a lot of, obviously, for where we might have said that this one might be everywhere, or best you can do is go up from here. I mean, they've definitely got a great base to start off of. So there's going to be the shutdown going over towards extra loaded. It will mean Akali will grab that and the ace, and then that's going to be the game. 35-11. Buffalo will take it. No, they want to. There you go. Okay, now they'll go ahead and end the game. And 35-11, about an 18,000 goal deficit, but it will be the 2-0 going over towards Buffalo. Once again, one of the strongest teams in the conference. And, there's definitely room for improvement, but I think there's a very solid base to start off of.
Yeah, and I think you really drove the point home, but being able to have things to improve on is a lot better than being a team that blows somebody out and says, okay, well, I guess we'll be fine the rest of the season, and then has to face tougher and tougher opponents. I think being able to face such a tough opponent like Buffalo at the start of the season gives them the ability to really take time in this next week to look over VODs, to figure out what went wrong, and to be able to improve on that. I have full faith that we will be seeing a whole different Husky team come, next Wednesday? Is that our next game?
Yeah, this Wednesday at 7 p.m. I have to verify. Let me double check who we're playing on Wednesday. That is going to be on Wednesday at 7 p.m. That's Overwatch. I see. The schedule we have up on the Discord is swapped around. So we'll have to fix that. But moving forward, it's going to be Ball State on Wednesday. That one's at 7 p.m. Obviously, one of our big rivals as a university. Should be another one that's going to be, honestly, it's going to be a tough matchup again. Ball State, again, they are quickly proving themselves as one of the toughest schools in the conference to face in any game title. And so we'll have to see how that one goes. But I think there's definitely things that NIU can build on for that match. And so I'm excited to see that one. We'll be back on the broadcast for that one with Ball State versus NIU this Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, not 2 p.m. Central. So we'll get that updated on the schedule graphic. Any final thoughts, Charles, before we head out for the night?
I think that I don't think I have anything. I think that I wish everybody a happy Saturday, and can't wait to see you guys all on Wednesday.
I echo those sentiments. I'm looking forward to having the match on Wednesday, and have a great weekend, everybody. And on Wednesday, I believe we may be joined by from the Overwatch team and one of our Valorant casters, Austie might be joining us for the cast, so we'll have to see. We may be doing a tri-cast some of these games, so we've got some cool opportunities. We might have some other special guests lined up throughout the semester, so lots of opportunities to stay tuned and stay caught up with all things NIU esports. So yeah, like I said, and echoing the sentiments for myself, Connor Vagel, as well as Charles Farmer. Thank you guys so much for watching. Unfortunate on the outcome, but we will see you guys on Wednesday. Have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, go Huskies, and we'll see you back on the same channel Wednesday evening.